We are back for another exciting edition of the hashtag Wednesday Match Play. And you might be wondering who I am and where the heck Ricky Potts is, but he is here with us. We've changed things around for the final episode of 2016. Ricky is the guest for tonight's show, and I have the pleasure of having him in the hot seat and grilling him for the next 30 to 60 minutes. So rather than me try and explain what he does, because he wears so many different hats, I'm going to turn it over to him, let him take a couple minutes, tell us who he is, what he does. So Ricky, for the first time, I'd like to welcome you to the hashtag Wednesday Match Play.
That is weird and equally cool. Like, I've not been in this situation. Like I told you before we went live, I'm like nervous. And I'm like, wait a minute, I do this every week, but I'm nervous sitting here getting interviewed. So I do wear a lot of hats. I spend my days and most of my evenings as the director of marketing for Tiburón Golf Club here in sunny and warm. And when I say warm, on Christmas Day, it was 88 degrees and I was complaining that it was too hot to be sitting by the beach. So first world problems, I know, but I've got them being in Naples, Florida. 3 years prior to that, I've been with Troon in the corporate office in Scottsdale as their digital communications manager. This is what led me to Tiburón, still within the Troon family, so I'm still a part of Team Troon, and that's not going to change anytime soon, if ever. And I'm excited to be able to bring the experiences that I've had over the years to the team, join an unbelievable facility, 36 holes of championship golf. We just hosted the LPGA CME Group Tour Championship, their final event of the year. Took 2 weeks off, and then the PGA Tour showed up with the Franklin Templeton Shootout. Unbelievable events. The golf courses are spectacular. We brought in Jeff Cathy, who was the superintendent at Colonial Country Club, not even an hour from Naples up northeast by Fort Myers. He's the superintendent now at Tiburón and has taken the black course and just made it as good as it's ever been. The gold course, we spent a few $1 million on the gold course to remaster that. We're now going to be remastering the black course in 2017. So come fall of 2017, we're going to have 2 brand new golf courses. We have 2 Ritz-Carlton towers on property. So needless to say, I spend my days not working, if you can call it that. I like dance music. I play golf. I work out a ton. I like to run. I mean, I got a lot of things going on. And my focus, though, from 9 to 5, which is more like 8 to 6, is helping drive rounds and revenue at Tiburón Golf Club here in Naples, Florida.
I feel like we have so many things to talk about, and we're going to try and rush through a lot of them. We'll start off with some of the things that you didn't really talk about in that intro. Some being the things that you have personally spearheaded in the golf industry, your Google Plus golf community, which is blown up over the last several years or however long you've been doing that. Tag the Oven 17, social media in general, and then we'll kind of get more into your traditional role with Troon, with Tiburón. Right off the bat, you have your website and blog, Ricky Lee Potts, has a wealth of content from anything from craft beer, dance music, to golf. Maybe just give us an overview of what the purpose of your own personal website is and what you utilize that tool to accomplish.
So I like to write. I like beer. I like dance music. I like golf. And I was like, all right, let's put it on paper. And I remember where I was sitting, what I was doing when I wrote my first blog post. And I was like, let's just see if this ever, takes off and if anybody finds it. And that being said, over the last 8 years, I've published almost 2,000 blog posts. I got into interviews. So intro, hashtag Wednesday Match Play. Prior to that, for 3 years, was the Friday Foursome, and interviewing people this way. I interview people on pen and paper just the same. I've written over 600 interviews with bands, DJs, and artists from around the world. My 600th interview happened to actually be not that long ago with my favorite band of all time, Eve 6. So that was a really cool opportunity. I got to not only meet them the night that I finished and posted the interview, but got to have a very lengthy conversation over the phone with Max Collins, their lead singer. And it was pretty surreal. And I'm thinking, like, what's next? Who's 700? Who's 800 when I get to 1,000? But that's something I enjoy doing. You know, I write about things that I'm interested in. I write a lot about dance music. As much as I'm into golf and craft beer, I'm into dance music. So I love electronic dance music, whether it's house, techno, trance, you name it. There's so many different styles, so many different DJs. And I utilize my blog as a way to just kind of write about things I'm interested in. And it's turned into a place that people come to. People like to read my content. And it's not necessarily opinion based anymore. It used to be, and now it's just about factual, enjoyable things that I find interesting. If I find them interesting and somebody has a similar interest, he or she will like that content as well. And the website gets about 40,000 hits a month, and I don't monetize it at all. I just do it because I enjoy doing it. The same thing with the Google Plus golf community. When Google Plus introduced communities, I remember it was 12:01 when the community at night, and the communities were now available. And I said, I'm going to create one. Let's call it golf and see what happens. And sure enough, I had 2 members, 5 members, 8 members, 10 members, and I was like, this is pretty cool. Now we're just over 24,000 members, and I see no end in sight. The growth is continuing with thanks to Eat Sleep Golf, the hashtag Wednesday Match Play, and being able to drive traffic from there to YouTube, from YouTube back, Facebook, Twitter, etc., back to the community and so forth. The content is incredible. It is golf first, and every single piece of content that is shared there, whether it's shared by people, brands, what have you, I get a notification and an email before that content is delivered to the community. So it's not that I'm controlling the content. I'm just ensuring that spam is not a part of that community. So if you scroll through a week, a month, a year's worth of content, it's going to be relevant to the game of golf. And yes, there have been times where I've had to boot someone or I've had to ban someone from the community or what have you because of their spam attitude or their argumentative attitudes. But I don't like doing that, but when it happens, I have to because I'm protecting the membership of that community. And we're at 24,000 now, and I remember Jesus Martinez and Brandon Stooksbury, guys that have been on this show, were in the first 10 members, and I'm just pegging them on Facebook. Hey, join this. This is going to be cool. This will be cool. I promise. And they're still there. They're still enjoying the content, and it's been over 4 years now. And again, I'm just getting started with that, and it's to a point to where I don't even really worry about posting because I let the members of the community do that. And you post a ton of great content as Eat Sleep Golf, and there's so many good conversations that are created there on a daily basis. And you know, the blog is just a one spoke of a wheel that is my life and the interest that I'm in. And I'm not getting paid with the golf community just the same as I'm not with my blog, and I don't care. It's not about that. It's about creating good, relevant, quality content for people that are interested in it. And the golf community has allowed me to do that in a space that has allowed me to meet people through things like the Wednesday Match Play in places that I never would have thought possible. I mean, just recently we had my office window on the show. Not only is he 60 feet above us taking some of the best video footage of anybody in the game of golf, I see him 3 weeks later and he's walking down the fairway and we shake hands and we meet. And that's not something that you can put a dollar amount on because that's something that is so unbelievably special past just anything that could be tied to that monetarily. So that being said, that's just kind of a little tip of the cap to what RickyLeePotts.com and the Google Plus Golf community is all about.
And it seems like that's like the tip of the iceberg. And you mentioned so many things, and it's impressive from writing 2,000 articles. That is articles. From that to growing a Google Plus golf community to over 24,000 members. That is just a wealth of content. Is all that, or do you create a schedule? Like you're going to do a certain number of blog posts a week. You're going to try and be active in the community a certain number of times a week or per day, or what does that look like?
So the blog has no schedule. The blog is as it comes to me. So just to give you an idea, like 2 days ago, I get an email from StumbleUpon, which is a really cool website that allows you to just find random junk on the internet, and it's junk that is relevant to you. So I highly recommend people check that out. I got an article that came to me that was 33 questions asked in Apple interviews that you would never thought possible, or something very similar to that. So I read the first question, and I'm like, boom, I'm going to do this as a blog post, answer all 33 questions, and answer them as I read them. So it'll be a blog post I work on for 2, 3, 4 weeks or whatever until I answer all 33. and they're awesome. They're fun. One of the first question was, how would you explain a modem and a router to an 8-year-old? Well, I'd be shocked if an 8-year-old doesn't know what that is, but I explained that in my answer. And yeah, it'll be potentially long and a boring, why do I care what this kid thinks about, these questions, but it's relevant to me, it's interesting to me, and I guarantee it'll be an entertaining blog post. As far as the community is concerned, the schedule is my email inbox. I utilize my email inbox as my to-do list. So if there's an email there, I've got something to do. So if I get a post every day, 4 or 5 times a day, I'm checking to see what posts have been flagged as spam, and I'm sifting through those. Every day I'm looking at the comments and the conversations that have been created. Anytime Tiger sneezes, I have to post a status update about it. I mean, like there's Tiger pretty much controls the content that I'm posting to the community itself. But no, there's no schedule, and I honestly I don't believe there could be. Chad Coleman, and I'm not going to be able to call him a friend because I've never met the guy, and I'm not sure he's real, but he's kind of the hashtag Ricky, so to speak, of Callaway Golf. He and I have communicated, and we've talked on Facebook and Twitter for the last 2 or 3 years. And he said once, I asked him if at Callaway what schedule they used, if they used a program, if they used a spreadsheet, what have you. And he said, there is no possible way that I could schedule content in my capacity. That's not feasible. And I look at that the same way, and I use that as motivation to not think about scheduling stuff. Because if I try to look for content and try to force content, it's going to feel and read that way. So my blog may go a month without a blog post, but I might post 6 next week because I've got things that are coming in. New albums are being released from a DJ I like, or a new festival has come up, or I go to a beer festival and I want to talk about a beer that I had or whatever. So there is no schedule, and if there was, you would be able to tell that in the content. And I'm never going to put myself on a schedule for the content that I create because I want it to remain relevant and something that is easy to engage with on a timely basis.
Sure, and you've done a great job, obviously, with 24,000 active members and those people posting on a regular basis. Is it you personally that is looking through every one of those posts, or are there other people involved with helping moderate the group? Or is it kind of after a while people just understand the general rules and there's not that much that goes into that? Or how do you manage all those posts?
It's a little bit of both. So I've got 2 other guys, and I need to consider expanding that a little bit because I've got 2 other guys that are moderators, but they don't do much with it. They don't post very much. One of them I haven't seen post in a year or more. I do travel a lot, so if I'm traveling overseas and I'm not going to be focused on that, I need somebody to kind of pick up the slack and check through the spam, etc. Stuff does get flagged as spam on a daily basis. That's not really spam. So I want to make sure that stuff does get posted. So that's a moderator can control that. I get a lot of experience with that also in another community that I'm a moderator in called the Craft Beer Nation. So my obsession with craft beer Nation is, imagine the golf community. It's golf and all golf, but for craft beer. There's about 20 moderators in that. It's got a few thousand more members, but that's okay. I'm focused on catching them and surpassing them. But I get content there that it's not, there's more people sifting through the spam, but I find I enjoy the sifting process because I like to look at why you think that should have been posted and kind of having the power to say yay or nay, it gets shared. I'm also a moderator in another group that has a very similar, it's a very, very niche target. If you post something outside of that niche, it gets removed. If you post more than 2 or 3 times outside of that niche, you get booted. And that's just the way it is. And that keeps the content very relevant to that subject matter. So, I'm looking in 2017 to expand the number of moderators. I have a couple, 2, 3 people in mind that I would think that I would like to invite. I'm not going to necessarily kick the other guys out because they are active, but there'll be an article that'll come up that I'll say I'll have an interest in, whether Tiger, does something, or there's something about a golfer that I don't necessarily approve. Rory is one of those golfers that I don't necessarily agree with him both on and off the course. Maybe he makes news. Well, that needs to be posted for the good of the members. So I'm going to take that link. I'm going to send it to one of, if not both of those guys, and say, hey, can you post something about this? Let them run with it, but it gets posted and it gets shared to the greater good of the full membership. So in 2017, look for both the membership to grow because of things like the hashtag Wednesday Match Play. I've thought about adding a couple of more little side projects to it just in an effort to get maybe tips of the week from a pro, or just different ideas that pop into my head. But every single thing that is posted I review, Every single spam post I sift through on a daily basis, and it doesn't go more than 8 or 12 hours before that stuff is cleaned up. And I think that's a testament to the quality of the membership and a quality of the content. That if John Doe says, what is this Google Plus golf community all about? And he goes through it and he clicks on golf courses as a category, or photos and videos, or golf video, or golf tips. And that content's going to be relevant, and it's going to be fresh and clean and professionally done. It's not going to be filled with promotional items. I can't tell you how many spam promotional items per day I sift through because Google flags that as spam. I'm sorry, I get it that your umbrella is really cool, but stop telling me about it. Now, if you want to talk about it and talk about why it's relevant, you can post it once and then we'll see. But if you post 13 times a day to buy your golf-themed umbrellas, you're not going to be invited to participate in the community. So it's not being rude or mean. That's just me having a very focused goal of providing that quality content. And this just in, my golf professional and personal trainer just sent me a text message that's he wants to be a moderator. So yes, Dan Attaway will be the first new moderator of 2017. Now, Dan, drop what you're doing. Keep this on in the background. Go post something about Tiger, and we'll see how good you are, because he knows my obsession with Tiger. So, but you know, the goal of the community is to grow it, obviously, and to grow the game of golf. And I've said from the day that I started working in this business, if I can retire and have grown the game of golf with one person, that one individual comes to me, and I know for a fact that he or she has picked up clubs, has gone to the course, has hit balls, has played 18 holes, has followed, be it Tiger, that I did my job. Now, I'm not doing it as big as a Tiger or as big as, you know, I look at guys like Dana Garnamy, who's the founder and CEO of True, and what he's done to grow the game. He's year after year listed as the #1 most powerful man in the game of golf, and he is, because what he's built. And he's built it from stacking range balls at Troon Country Club to starting True North Golf Club to building the world's largest golf course management company. And the coolest thing about working for that, coming full circle, is that when I see him in the hallways, no more because I'm not in the corporate office, but when I would see him in the hallways, he knew who I was. He'd say hello. What musicians I'm interested in. And that says a lot about a guy that has built an empire that manages over 270 golf courses in 31 countries and 36 states. To be able to know somebody that's, why does he know me? He doesn't need to know me, but he does. And that says a lot about who he is, what he's done, and how I look up to him for what he's created. So that all being said, it's a fun place to work, if you can call it that. I go to work every day and I look out the window and I'm like, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. So, you know, the future is bright. I say that a lot. You know, I'm self-admittedly, if Tiger's not playing, I'm not watching, and that'll never change. So when he retires, I'll probably never watch golf on TV. But I know who won. I know what courses they're playing at. I know what tournaments they finished. I'm a golfer first. I'm a golf fan second. But I'm a Tiger fan before I'm a golf fan. So if I have the opportunity to watch 18 holes of golf on a Sunday morning and it's sunny outside and I can go play 18 holes, I'm playing 18 holes all day long. But if Tiger's in the field, I'm sitting on the couch, whether he's in first place or he's in last place, because I just want to watch him play. So I kind of went a little off on a tangent there, but it was Tiger, so I'll allow it.
Yeah, and many different things each time you get the chance to talk. But there's so many follow-up questions that I have. And so just mentioning Tiger, and I don't want the rest of the time that we have, but session with Tiger begin.
So this is a funny story, and I remember, I couldn't tell you the exact Chili's, but Chili's, the restaurant chain in Cleveland, Ohio. I was with my mom and my grandma and my aunt and maybe my other aunt. I remember I was sitting on this side of the table on the right, and I do the math, but Tiger was, I didn't know what golf was, right? Like I knew what golf was, obviously, but I didn't care about it or follow it. There's this big tube TV up in the corner. Now I was in Cleveland, Ohio, and this is I'm tell all here. I at one point in my life was an active Hallmark ornaments collector. I still have them all. I have about 400 of them or so, I'd say, all in their original packaging. And we went to Hallmark ornaments conventions around the country. And I'm sorry that I was a kid. My mom made me go. But I'm at that. We're on lunch. We're sitting at Chili's, and I look up on the TV, and golf's on. And I'm like, one, I'm a kid, and I'm miserable. And I'm like, I don't want to be at this ornaments convention. And I'm like, ooh, that looks fun. What's going on? And I see this guy walking around. He's wearing blue shorts and a pink and white striped shirt, and he's got a straw hat on, and he looks goofy, quite frankly. And sorry, Tiger, you looked goofy. And he's walking around, and I'm looking up at this TV, and he hits this 40-foot putt that breaks 10 feet, and it goes in. And he does a fist pump. And I'm like, golf is pretty cool. And that was when he won his second U.S. Amateur at TPC Sawgrass. He made that putt on 17, and from that moment, I was hooked, and I was like, whoever you are, I want to follow you. Look, I'm looking up at the TV. It's not there, really. And I want to follow that. I want to be obsessed with that, his career, his growth, his game. And then I got something with his picture on it. And then I got a magazine, and I got a book, and then I got a baseball card that was a golf card, and I got this and I got that. And I literally, if his face is on it, I want it. And I've got a lot of items with his face on them. So I just became hooked, and I did the same thing growing up prior and during my Tiger obsession with Ricky Henderson. And I'm still mad at my parents for not putting a Y in my name, but I followed and collected his memorabilia, and I still have it to this day. He's the greatest, and he never officially retired from baseball. So technically he's probably the oldest active Major League Baseball player, but I don't know. I collected ornaments. I collected Henderson. I collected Tiger. And the Tiger thing, like, to give you an idea, last night I was at the grocery store, and I'm walking out, and I see a newspaper rack, and I'm like, well, is Tiger on it? So I walk over and I look at every single one of them to see if his face is on it. Because if his face was, I was grabbing it and I was going back to the checkout line. Because if his face is on it, I want it. So it all started when he made that putt on 17 to win his second U.S. Amateur Championship.
Wow. And so with this entire collection of Tiger you have, is it just scattered around your house, or do you have like a Tiger Woods room, or does it just get stored away and you never?
It is stored. I have a couple of items that are readily available. I don't know. This is a fun story. So I don't have a lot of items professionally framed, a couple that have been given to me as such or what have you. My last week in the Troom corporate office, and this is still a mystery, I get back from vacation, and I'm second to last week in the office, and I go to my desk, and I see a magazine sitting on, it was turned upside down, and I'm sitting on my desk, and I was like, what is this? And we were in temporary office space, so it wasn't my normal office space. I turned it over. And what I didn't just throw it to the side, because I turned it over, and it's a copy of a Sports Illustrated from 1997 after Tiger won his first Masters. Is it a copy of Sports Illustrated? It's the picture of him. It does not have the label on it. There's no name on it. So it's like a legitimate, like, store-bought Sports Illustrated. And it's signed by Tiger. And I've got a couple of things signed by him. I have 2 or 3 other things signed by him. And not only is it signed, but it's signed. Underneath it says 12 strokes. So I do some digging. That's the number of strokes that he won that event by. And I do some digging. And not only is that magazine signed by him extremely rare, I've seen only 2 items in all of the research that I did for 2-3 weeks after where he signed 12 strokes. So that obviously raises, and it's not about the value, because that's something that I went straight to the store, paid twice as much as probably what I should have to have it framed, but got it framed. And when we moved, that didn't go into a container. That went into my front seat, because that's currently one of my most prized possessions of Tiger memorabilia. So that will be going on display sooner than later. But I've got posters. I've got a street sign that says Tiger Woods Drive, haha, golf pun intended. I've got bobbleheads. I've got so once upon a time I had some of that stuff hanging here and there, and I eventually will again. But I envision this day where I have my floor is a putting green, and I've got Tiger stuff just everywhere. But at this time, it's in a lot of those boxes in there. And I look at it every now and then, but just to flip through it. But nothing on display as of today.
That's awesome. And not to change the topic, because I know you could talk about Tiger for hours, limited amount of time, and so much more that we haven't even touched. The Oven 17, hashtag the Oven 17, something else that you spearheaded yourself. Review of what that looks like and where it's headed in the new year.
So that's a fun story, and I hope Matt Rust is watching, because Matt Rust is one of 3 guys that have been along this ride from the beginning. So let's go way back. When I lived in Indiana, I was really connected to the local music scene. I loved going to live shows, seeing bands, local bands, meeting people, yada, yada, yada. And I had this idea one day, and I was like, I'm gonna spearhead a concert. I'm gonna host a show. And I think, how many bands should I have? Oh, let's do 6. Okay, how much? 6 bands for $6. It was awesome. I did it twice a year for 2.5 years. It grew from being super small to almost selling out the venue. I had different genres. I had different people. I had a poet come one night. Like, it was like a big deal, right? People looked forward to that night. I looked forward to it just to host it and just be there and etc. Moved to Phoenix. I don't know any bands. All right, that's done. About 6 months later, I'm, all right, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Got to have something to do. And I was like, wait a minute, I live in a place that's got 150 golf courses. Why don't I host a golf tournament? So let's do it in the summer because it's super hot. Let's call it the Oven. Ha. Nobody will play. Not many people did in the first one. Matt Rust did. He flew from Indiana to Phoenix, played in it. We had 12 guys signed up for the first one. I was stupid and had 36 holes the first day, 36 holes the second day, big meal on Saturday night. At the end of the second round, 2 people had finished out of the original 12, Matt and myself. The second year I do it a little less golf, 27 and 18, and I had Matt and those other 2 gentlemen played in it as well. Awesome. They're back. It got bigger. I did it last year, and I'm only doing 1 a year versus 2 just because of how long it takes to plan and organize an event to this scale. Those guys all came back, and they played it in the third time, and I was like, let's do an honorary starter. Let's have you guys hit a tee shot. Welcome back. The 3 guys that were in it from day one, they did that, and it was awesome. We got up to 32 players this year in 2016. We had 18 holes, an event, 18 holes. It was a fun weekend, and it was awesome to see it grow. It's going to happen again over my birthday weekend in 2017, the 21st and 22nd of 2017 of July. We're going to Tucson, Arizona for this one. So I am working with a local brewing company, Borderlands Brewing Company, and Tucson is going to do a beer that we are going to work together on the recipe. The 3 honorary starters are going to go down the month prior, and they're going to brew the beer with the brewery. They're going to literally walk into the brewery. They're going to help pour the hops. They're going to help with the mash. Like, they're going to do it all. They're going to brew the beer. A month later, we're going to have the pairings party that Friday night, and we're going to have that beer tapped for the first time. It'll be available after the fact, but it's going to be tapped for the pairings party. That's an IPA more than likely, because they said I got to pick the style, and I'm a hophead, so it's probably going to be an IPA. But the idea is that that's just something a little extra to add to the experience. And then we're going to play the next day, 18 holes at La Paloma Country Club, a Jack Nicklaus signature design, his only signature in Tucson, and it's a Troon Privé facility. What that means is that it's private. Unless you're a resort guest or a member, you don't play there. So it's a private club that if you don't normally have access to. After that, we're going to go back to Casino del Sol, which is the host hotel, getting preferred rates for anybody that's playing in the event. You have the ability to stay there for a discounted rate. But before we go to bed on Saturday, we're going to go and we're going to have a cheeseburger buffet. I'm curious what that's going to look like at La Paloma. We're going to have at 6 o'clock that Saturday, we're going to have a foot golf contest on the back of the range under lights at Sewilo Golf Club, who is the host course for Sunday. It's a 6-hole foot golf course. We're going to have a bev cart. We're going to have a lot of fun. I got a couple of ideas to make that even better and bigger. So that's going to be a fun night on Saturday. Sunday, we're going to play 18 holes. We're going to have a lunch and closing reception at the Tequila Factory inside of Casino del Sol. And that's a lot of stuff, right? And in the past, the price has been anywhere from 180 to 250 bucks, and I've had, because they've charged me tax. I don't make a ton of money on this. I'm not doing it to make money. Next year, I've decided to make even less, and I'm going to include the tax. So for hashtag the Oven 17, and we need to mention the presenting sponsor is Eat Sleep Golf. So Eat Sleep Golf is involved. First time ever we've had a sponsor, and I'm very excited to see the help they've already provided and what they're going to be able to do to help make this event a sellout. There's only 36 spots available for next year. 8 of them have already been sold, so it's already starting to sell. Now, the price is only $225. That is everything. That's pairings party access. That's golf both days. That's food both days. That's a couple of beverages both days. That's access to the preferred rate at the hotel. $225 out the door. But let's say you have 3 buddies that you want to bring. If you bring me a referral, somebody that did not play in it last year, regardless if you played in it last year, and regardless if you even play in it, if you say, hey, Ricky, I can't make it, but here are 3 of my friends that live in Tucson and they'd love to play. Everybody that you refer, I'll give you 25 bucks. It's that easy. I lose money when I pay a referral. Keep that in mind. I lose money when I pay a referral because it's not about me making money. It's about getting people to an event that is absolutely one of the coolest, pun intended there, events of the season. Yeah, it's hot. That's why I call it the Oven. But we're not doing 36. We're doing it in the mornings. We have morning tea times, and if we get big enough, it'll be a morning shotgun. It's not about anything more than just having a good time. So that being said, July 20th, 21st, and 22nd of 2017, hashtag the Oven 17. Let's make it an awesome sellout event.
That sounds amazing. Kudos for thinking of just about everything from the pairings party to brewing the beer to amazing golf courses, to foot golf to the cheeseburger buffet. Wow, that sounds unreal. Where can people sign up? Because I'm sure people are to click the button to sign up right now.
So the easiest way is to go to rickyleepots.com/theoven17. It's that simple. You can also go to twitter.com/rickyleepots. I've got a pinned tweet that'll stay pinned until the event where it's got a link to that website, so you don't even have to type it. Just go to my Twitter account, click the link, ask me on Facebook, ask me on Instagram. It doesn't matter where you are online. It's easy to find it. If you have questions, feel free to email me as well. There's all kinds of ways to learn about it. And even to your point about the things that we've done with the event from the pairings party. And let me explain that really quick. Pairings party, it's blind draw. You don't know who you're playing with on Saturday. You don't know who you're playing with on Sunday, because I don't want you to. I want it to be fun. I want you to come, play with new people, make new friends. The guys at Ready Putt, they were a sponsor a couple of years ago. They have made friends with people all over the world that they talk to on a daily basis. And I see these conversations happening on Twitter. And it's like, I'm not saying that I'm responsible for that, but if I was able to help introduce a guy here to a guy there that they can connect, that's what it's about. And I almost foresee a day that I don't even play in the event, where I just show up and walk around and talk to people, because I want it to become an event that people immediately think, that was awesome. How do I get involved next year? Because it's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get better. I already know the golf courses for 2018. Those will be announced on the Sunday of hashtag the Oven 17. You'll have to wait to find out, because I'm already excited about 18, and I haven't even started getting into 17. So you'll start seeing a lot more promotion coming from me in the very near future. But it's not a way for me to just help take all your money. It's about me trying to give an opportunity for you to come and have a good experience. And it's a unique atmosphere. It's a unique environment. It's not just everybody gets together and goes and plays a scramble. It's more than that. We've got some good sponsors lined up for next year. Lots of cool things, free stuff. I love the goodies. I love it. It's an awesome, awesome event.
Just from the networking component to just the entire tournament. And it is, like you said, more than not just a scramble event. It's an entire experience. So again, great job of all of those things and putting it together. So moving on to yet another topic. It's crazy the amount of things we've touched on already. Even crazier is all of the things we've talked about is just like your side job or outside. Like, it's hard to believe that you have a regular 9 to 5 Monday to Friday job that we haven't even talked about yet. So moving to that and the whole Troon world, you recently transitioned from the Troon head office to Tiburón. But let's start with just the Troon organization, and I guess just an overview and what that was like to kind of be at the hub at the
So
massive
yeah,
organization.
so what's cool about that? So when I was still in college, and I got a job with a company called Imivex, and they are located in Noblesville, Indiana. It's a, when I say small, I'm talking, it's small website design shop. Awesome company, unbelievable people. The owner is incredible. Steve Brzezinski and Gerald Stanley are the co-owners, and they're just the nicest people. Like the kind of people that if you get a flat tire on a Sunday morning and you call them, they'll come help you. Like small knit, almost a family, right? And I applied there with no intentions of getting a job there. But I was still in school. I was attending Purdue University, trying to just wrap up. I was in my last semester, and I wanted to get into the workforce. And it had to be tech. And I found this company, and I applied, and I got an interview. And I remember, I'm never going to forget this. And I hope Steve is watching, because he's going to laugh when he hears this. He walks into the interview. Not only did he walk into the interview late, and I noticed that because he was late, because everybody else was around the table but him. He was in gym shorts, knee-high socks, and no shoes. And I thought, really? Come on. Ended up being a company that I spent almost 6 years of my life with. And that interview, I knew that they worked with Troon, and I knew a little bit of the capacity, but not the grand scale of how much Imivex did work with Troon and Troon facilities. So at the end of the interview, Steve goes, do you have any questions? Yes, I do. I put my resume down, I pushed it aside, and I said, I'm curious to learn more about your relationship with Troon, how that affects your day-to-day operations, and who the point of contact is here in the corporate office at Imivex with Troon. And we had a conversation, yada, yada, yada. I started working there. I worked so closely with the team at Troon, both in the corporate office and at facilities, for those 5 years. I was a content specialist, so content has been a part of me from day one. I was a content specialist for them for 5 years. Get to meet all these people. I'm going to all these conferences. I'm shaking hands with general managers and owners, and I'm building these relationships. And I'm like, one day I wake up and I decide, and I will tell you, the day that I decided that we were moving to Scottsdale, it was March-ish, Indiana. I walked downstairs and I tried to leave, and I can't, because my car was literally frozen into my parking space. I put my car in park. I went upstairs and I said, we're moving to Scottsdale as soon as you graduate from school. She was getting her MBA from IU. I'm not going to hold that against her because I'm a Purdue grad. I'm just impressed that she can spell IU, so she got the degree. We moved to Scottsdale. I worked remote for a year with them. It was awesome. I worked with the team at Imivex. It was a fantastic opportunity. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go find greener pastures, so to speak. So I went and looked. I found a new job. I got an opportunity at Gannett Incorporated. I ended up working for Gannett Local, which was the company based in Phoenix, and had 6 of the most miserable months of my life. Booked a 3-week vacation to go to Maui to just forget about it, come back unemployed, and start over. In that 3 weeks before I left, conversations started with the team at Troon, yada, 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 and I started working as a digital communications manager in the Troon corporate office. Now, what's convenient about where we were living right by TPC Scottsdale. We lived on the number 1 green of the stadium course. So if you ever watch it on TV in January, February with the Waste Management Phoenix Open, you might be able to see where we used to live. It's right there on 1 green. And we lived there because I wanted to live close enough. I'm a runner, and I wanted to live close enough to the Troon corporate office so that when I went on my daily runs, that I could run and run by Troon. And I literally remember 100 times looking up, seeing Troon on the side of the building and saying, one day. Sure enough, that one day came, and I spent 3 years in the corporate office working with Chris Strauss and Ryan Walls and the sales and marketing team. I could name all of them, and I loved every second. I mean, are you kidding me? I got to go to work and promote 270 of the best golf courses on the planet and the brand that manages them. I'm working with Troon card sales. I'm working with Troon rewards. I'm working with Troon Fit, and all these different ideas, like daily, like do, and not enough hours in the day to do it. And that was cool. Well, then I go to Europe, take an annual European beer trip because we like to drink beer and we like to travel. So I go to Europe and I come back, and every Friday they send out an email to all Troon associates worldwide that is, and there's over 11,000 of us, that are openings. It's career listings every Friday. It didn't matter from the day that I started until the day that I took this opportunity in Naples. I looked at it. What's open? What's available? What's next? Because I knew where I wanted to be. I know where I want to go. I know what I want to become. It's within Troon. I see an opportunity. Director of Marketing, Tiburón Golf Club. What is that? I don't know what Tiburón is. I raise my hand. Hey, I'm interested. That leads to the next person. That leads to the next person. That leads to the next person, to the next person, to the next person. I climb this ladder. 7 weeks later, I get a phone call. I had had several phone calls prior leading up to that. We'd like to offer you the position. When can you start? I need to put in my 2 weeks. You need to be here on this Monday. Sure enough, that was the Monday after my 2 weeks. Flew down, spent my first week was the CME Group Tour Championship. My second week was the Franklin Templeton Shootout. They gave me a week and a half, 2 weeks to go home, pack my stuff, and to drive from Scottsdale to Naples. Been in Naples for just about a month now, and it's pretty cool. There was some hesitation from a couple of people on my team. Do you really want to go to the field? Do you really want to be in the field? It's different than in the corporate office. The 9 to 5 now becomes a 6 to 9 or what have you. You got to be there for events. You got to do this. You got to do that. It is maybe the coolest shift in my thought process and in my experiences that I've already learned. If I'm able to walk over into our restaurant and say, hey, you guys are busy, do you need me to fill any water glasses? Or I can walk into the golf shop and say, hey, let me know if you need me to fold anything, you guys are slammed. Or I can go down and be like, hey, do you guys need me to help, put water bottles into the coolers? Like, it's a different perspective. And it's a perspective that I'm getting it the opposite way, where guys in the field want to go to the corporate office. Well, now I'm going from the corporate office to the field. And maybe I'll end up back in the corporate office one day, I don't know. But right now I'm in the right place at the right property, and it, in my experience, doesn't get any better than Tiburón Golf Club. I'm working with a team that is just as good as it gets, from our director of membership, who was at Doral and then was at Seaview, working with Kevin DiDonato, who is our general manager, who was at Seaview and then Centennial, both Troon properties from Centennial, now here, working with our concierge. I mean, are you kidding me? I asked my concierge the other day, I was like, hey, need some plans for Christmas Eve. What do you got? She gives me 5 restaurants. Go here, do this. Go here, do this. Like, just in passing. It's something that you can't experience in the corporate office. And that's not me knocking the corporate office experience and the corporate office lifestyle at all. Because it's not that. Because the corporate office is its own unbelievable dynamic. But I needed this to be able to get to next. Because I want to run a private club. I want to run a facility managed by Troon as a part of the Troon Privé family of brands. And it's not that I want anymore, it's I will. And I had a conversation over lunch with Ryan Walls, who once upon a time was my boss's boss, who has now moved over to Troon Privé, because my boss and my boss's boss were all a part of the Troon Golf side of things. I was lucky enough to oversee kind of both. I supported both daily fee resort and private clubs. We had lunch one day, and he said, and I remember we were at Cheesecake Factory. I have all these little memories that pop up. We were at Cheesecake Factory. I was sitting here, and he was across from me, and he was like, what do you want to do in your career? And I said, I think I want to be a general manager of a private club. And he said, well, we're done here, because if you think, then you're not ready to know. You need to know you want to be a general manager. And I didn't at that time. Now I do, because I cannot wait for a member, whether happy or sad or mad, to come into my office and need something, because the satisfaction will be me either being able to provide that or being able to delegate that to somebody that can provide that. And I'm not going to be able to have ever been there without where I've come from and the things that I'm learning. I'm listening to everything as a sponge on a daily basis. Just today, a member comes in and they needed a new membership card. They lost theirs. Okay, well, I see and I hear and I feel how that experience goes, from the lady at the front desk to the membership director to, then I say, well, why are we printing those when that could be a digital thing that doesn't cost us anything, that doesn't cost the member anything, that could live on my phone, it could be within my passbook, the same way my credit card is, my bank card is, my gym card is. That's a good idea. I could never have had that dynamic that took place in a 3-minute conversation in the corporate office, because I needed to be in the field. I'm in the field, I'm at Tiburón, and it's amazing.
Well, that's awesome. It sounds like a great experience that you've had so far. And as I mentioned, I'm a big fan of the Troon organization as well. And like you alluded to, being able to experience the same organization but from different perspectives, it's another tool in your tool belt. So I think that will definitely help you get on managing a Troon Privé facility or whatever that next step looks like. And it sounds like you timed your transition perfectly to be able to be a part of the LPGA, CME, Franklin Templeton Shootout, a great behind the scenes look and introduction to the golf course that I imagine at that time you hadn't even played firsthand.
Still haven't. I still haven't played. My clubs just got here yesterday. And real quick, I know to that point though, it's interesting because the opportunity is so perfect, and I do not take it for granted because I sit here and I can't thank the team and the people that have led me and the mentors that I've had that have led me to where I'm at today. And I'm still young. I mean, I have gray hair, and I only see it when I cut it out of my head. But I can't imagine not being where I'm at today, whether it's here or another Troon facility or what have you. But to the point that I get to Tiburón and I'm a part of, and I'm not responsible for any of it. It's not me, it's them, of the renovations and the remastering of the Gold Course. Okay, so I get to see that wrap up. I get to see the LPGA Tour players on the Monday of the CME playing a practice round, literally being the first balls hit onto brand new greens, remastered and resculpted from the Greg Norman design group. That's cool to see that whole thing finish. Now next year in April 15th, April 17th, when the black course goes down, to be able to go out on a daily basis and see golf holes ripped up and rebuilt, that's cool. You don't get that at a lot of clubs, maybe ever. But to work with a superintendent that's one of Troon's best, to work with one of the best general managers in Troon's portfolio, to be able to work with a membership director that sold memberships at 3 of some of the highest end properties in the country. But then I look at that even a step further, talking about leading a Troon Privé facility, and I've been to the Troon International Conference. It's a conference that I'm talking Troon is in the building. And the last award they give each year is for the General Manager of the Year. And I've seen last year it was Alex Nakajima, who was formerly at Princeville Mackay Golf Club, who's now at Kapalua, which is about ready to host the Tournament of Champions. So make sure to tune in to see how good that golf course looks, because the superintendent there used to be the superintendent of the club in Scottsdale. So I've got to know him pretty well over the years. The interview that, or the speech that Alex did, I remember it, and I remember he some serious parts, some laughable parts, and tying it into my obsession with dance music, I listened to a DJ duo called W&W, and at the end of their podcasts, and I listen to podcasts all the time, they say at the end of their podcasts, and remember, the best is yet to come. And not saying that I'm ever going to have the opportunity to be the best general manager in Troon, but when I'm the best general manager within Troon, when I'm giving that speech, at the end, I'm going to say, we're just getting started, and remember, the best is yet to come. Because I honestly feel that way. As good as I could ever get, as my good friend Tiger Woods likes to say, you can always become better.
That's awesome. And that's one of the things I like about the entire Troon brand, is because they have, you would know better than me, but over 250 golf courses worldwide that they manage, and being able to see what works in certain facilities and what doesn't, and being able to adapt and then launch initiatives across the entire brand, like you mentioned, the Troon Fit, and maybe you can even talk about that either from the head office perspective or now from a golf course perspective, what that looks like with promoting those initiatives. I love the Troon Fit initiative. You mentioned a couple others, and I'm sure there's others that I don't even know about. But
so to that point, 2 things. Troon Fit I'll finish on, but so imagine foot golf. To some, it's not golf. It's soccer. It's kicking the soccer ball, and it's golf and soccer meet. Okay. Well, would that work at my club in Orlando? Maybe. Maybe not as well as it would in Honduras. Well, guess what? We have a club in Honduras that input a foot golf course. It drove thousands and thousands of dollars in revenue. Because why? Soccer is popular in Honduras. It's not as popular in Orlando. But imagine when your course is closed for 2 weeks for overseeding. Now we've got a foot golf course. Well, the golf course is closed. The foot golf course doesn't have to be. I can be on the course on my feet, but I'm not playing golf on it because it's overseeded. Now it's an opportunity to drive some revenue, some additional revenue that didn't exist. Now imagine the ability to put a big cup and that's in the same vein as that. Big cups have become a big thing, a big trend within Troon, especially during overseed or during charity events. Let's say we got a 144-man buyout. Let's put a big cup in the middle of the green and a hole long and a hole short, and you play to whatever hole is the closest. Whatever hole you get it into, that's your hole. It's ideas like that that can be at one course that can be funneled to 270 worldwide. Troon Fit is awesome. I used to be a fat kid, so I'm obsessed with losing weight and working out and eating healthy. And I'm sorry, I drink a lot of beer, so I skip meals sometimes for the beers that I consume. But Troon Fit is a program that is focused on a healthy lifestyle. Take that from a basis, and then each facility can do what they want with it. So one of the things that we do here at Tiburón, we have walks every Monday morning with members. It's the Troon Fit Walk. They never had that before. They love it. Monday morning at 8:30 a.m., let's get together and let's walk for 9 holes. All right, let's go into the restaurant and have lunch. Now I see 3 or 4 menu items that have the Troon Fit logo beside it. What does that mean? Oh, well, that means that menu item is 500 calories or less. Now as I'm ordering, I've got a healthy decision. Do I want the chicken salad or do I want the cheeseburger? Well, the Troon Fit logo is next to the chicken salad, so it's helping me make that decision, and the facility is leading that based on the recommendations from Troon as a whole. Do you have to? Not at all. You don't have to do any of that. I personally wrote a series of blogs, and I'm going to keep that going here in Florida. Walking and tracking with my Fitbit steps and miles of a golf course. Ak-Chin Southern Dunes Golf Club did a fantastic job. They allowed me to come out. I did that. I tracked front 9, back 9 totals, etc. Write a blog post. They've got those numbers. They took it, did an email campaign. Come out and walk Ak-Chin Southern Dunes, and you're going to walk 11 miles, 22,417 steps, and that turns into a marketing opportunity for them, all based around the Troon Fit brand. So it's just one of a slew of different things that Troon is doing to help, 1, drive interest, and 2, promote these programs. And I remember two years ago or more, we're sitting in a meeting, a weekly Friday meeting, and somebody says, hey, we need a junior program. Okay, let's call it the Troon Junior Club. Okay. Now it's a humongous program that is growing the game of golf. Instructors have access to Snag and US Kids Junior Golf, and they do, play with an adult after 3 and the kid plays free, or, whatever you want to do with that. It's a $30 charge per year. Kid gets a hat, some tees, and a bag tag, and it's a cool thing. That came from, hey, we should have a junior program. Okay, let's do that. Let's figure it out. We figured it out. We perfected it. We made it big. There's an Instagram account. That is the only way you can communicate to the Troon Junior Club. Instagram. Awesome. Why? Because that's where the kids are. It's a cool idea. And that's all started from, hey, we should have a junior program. And that's what really Troon's doing on a daily basis.
That's awesome. Well, we're way over our typical half-hour show, but as you know, before I can let you go, we have the back 9, and it's, as you know, Troon, but more just 9 random fun golf questions. So are you ready for your back 9?
I am ready, but really quick, because I know that we wrap up quickly, I want to thank you for doing this. This was, I literally could sit here and talk all night, and I love the fact that I'm now in the interview chair, and the hot seat, as you said, it's about 75 degrees right now. So don't worry about, I don't know where you are in Canada. It's probably not 75 degrees. It's wintertime. But I want to thank you and Eat Sleep Golf for the support over the last 12 months. It's been an awesome year. 2017 is going to be even bigger and better. There are so many people that I'd like to thank, the guests that we've had on this show, and I could name every single one, and every single one of them every show has been awesome. But I'm just unbelievably grateful to be able to be sitting in this chair to do this, and to be able to have worked with you on the hashtag Wednesday Match Play. And 2017 is going to be bigger than ever, and I'm looking forward to that. Now, back 9, let's go.
All right. I know that you're a huge craft beer fan. If you had to pick just one beer to drink for the rest of your life, what would you be drinking?
Oh my God, that is so. Next question. I don't know if I could answer that. What I say, if I had to, I would say AleSmith Speedway Stout, only because that is a bottle of beer that's $12.99 for a $7.50. And I can spend 3 hours with that beer, and it go from this flavor to that flavor and everything in between. I'm not going to be happy about it because I'm going to have to drink like 2 or 3 of those a night, and that's going to get really expensive really quick. But it's obtainable, it's delicious, and yeah, I'm mad about it. It's a hard question. Next.
Part question. You're a big dance music fan, so what's your favorite DJ, and do you listen to music while you're on the golf course?
So I am obsessed with dance music to the point that, so DJ Mag does a top 100 list every year, and out of those top 100, I've probably heard of 95 of them, and I've interviewed 50 of them, and I listened to 40 of them. So right now, my biggest favorite DJ is DJ Danik. Big fan of his new podcast. I listen to Gareth Emery quite a bit, Above and Beyond, Tiesto, Armin van Buuren, Paul Van Dyke, Paul Oakenfold, Tritonal. Big fan of Tritonal. W&W, who I mentioned earlier. I love the Deep House Cat Show, which is not a single DJ, but it's a podcast of a mix of DJs. But as of today, if you said, who's your favorite DJ right now, I would have to say Kill Club. Kill Club is a guy who lives in Cabo San Lucas. He's a good friend of mine, and he does some deep, deep house mixes. His podcast is fantastic, and I am just, every time, he will actually DM me when he's getting ready to release a new podcast, and I sit here and I'm like waiting, like refresh. Like he's really good. So, and yes, I listen to music when I play golf, but I only listen to music when I play golf when the other people I'm playing with either A, are okay with listening to dance music, or B, they listen to what they want to listen to. I'm never going to play something if they're not into it. I'm never going to play something if they don't want to listen to it, and I keep it low and quiet enough that it won't bother anybody else in the golf course. So that's the elevator pitch of my EDM.
I think you named 100 DJs there, but so let's try and narrow this next question down to just one. What is the favorite golf course that you've actually played?
I'm going to make my home course mad. No, I'm not, actually. Yeah, I am. I'm going to make my home course mad. My home course is Whirlwind Golf Club in Arizona. And I almost wanted to say Capitol Canyon Club because I played there by myself in a cart in 2.5 hours. But I remember more holes at Pine Canyon Club, which is in the hill. Like they got 4 feet of snow on the ground. But I can't not fall in love with. And it's a 2-part question because it's one course, one facility. Ak-Chin Southern Dunes Golf Club in Maricopa, Arizona. Because one, the team there is ridiculous. They are as good as it comes, period. Brady Wilson, Devin Lowe, and the guys at that facility are unbelievable. But the practice facility, the golf course, it is a perfect golf experience. It's a hard golf course. It's a long golf course. There's no homes on the golf course. It is a true test of golf as I've ever seen. So Ak-Chin Southern Dunes Golf Club has to be it. And I gotta throw a little love to, they have a short course on their driving range. It's a little 6-hole course. Holes range from 65 to 110 yards. And when they first came up with this idea, and I hope that this gets replicated at facilities worldwide, because at 2 o'clock the course shuts down, the range. They pick every ball off the range. 3 o'clock it reopens to another golf course, and it's called #Mini Dunes. It's the first golf course in the world to have a hashtag in the name. So in any alphabetical list of facility names, it's at the top, whether it's by state or total, and it's fun. It's a really fun little golf course. So at the end of the day, the experience, the golf course, I don't care if I shoot 110 or I shoot 73, Ak-Chin Southern Dunes Golf Club is, at this time of my life, the favorite course, best course that I've played. And I say that having not played Tiburón because I've had clubs in my hands for 12 hours.
All right, well, maybe in this next question, what course is the top of your bucket list that you have not played?
Tiburón, obviously, the black and the gold at Tiburón are definitely up there. Kapalua, I have been to Kapalua. Former general manager and I took a tour of the golf course. I didn't expect to play, nor did I want to play necessarily. Dustin Johnson was playing a practice round in front of us, and we're talking to the superintendent, and it was a cool experience. We drove/walked down 18, and Mike's hitting some putts on 18, getting an idea for the speed of the greens. And so let's say Kapalua is up there. I mean, no, obviously you want to say things like Augusta or Pebble Beach, and I don't. Like, if somebody said tomorrow, hey, you want to play Pebble Beach on Friday? Oh, it's not. I mean, yeah, maybe, but like, I'm not dying and itching to play a place like that. I think that the answer to that, the same way that if you said, what's your favorite beer, not the beer that I would be able to drink if it was the only beer that I could drink for the rest of my life. My favorite beer is my next beer, because I don't know what I'm about ready to drink. So the next golf course that I want to play is the next golf course, whether it's a 9-hole muni course down the street or it's a high-end private club on the other side of the country. I think that the next course is the next course that I want to play.
Who is your favorite LPGA Tour player?
Is it fair to just say Lexi because that's easy? I'm not going to say player because I don't have one. Hannah O'Sullivan will be, because she is one of the nicest girls and has one of the best swings that, like, when she gets to the tour, like, she is just fantastic. She is also a former member of the Troon Junior Club, and she's only a former member because she's no longer a junior. I think that my favorite LPGA Tour player is the LPGA itself. They have blown me away from 4 or 5 years ago, where I was thinking, well, what are they going to call it? Because it's not going to be the LPGA anymore. It's going to dissolve, and it's going to become, like the Asian ladies tour or what. It's going to just maybe even just dissolve completely. And they have totally done a 180 and now are fun. They're taking selfies with trophies. They're in your face. They are embracing live streaming apps. They're taking pictures. They're engaging. They're fun. And that's cool. And I can't pick a single player because I have to be honest, I don't watch the LPGA, but I would say that my favorite LPGA Tour player is the LPGA itself, because they have seen the need to change in an environment where they had no choice. They did, and they did it really well. And when the LPGA was here at Tiburón, I met some folks from the team, especially their digital marketing team. And they're like, what can you give us? Like, whatever. I don't care what it is. Let's discuss ideas. Like, they're open, eager, and willing to talk about ideas. And the LPGA has got a bright, bright future. And I'm excited to see where they go next. I'm excited they're going to be back at Tiburón next year for the CME. And I just look forward to working with them even more closely over the next 365 days until they're back here in South Florida.
That's awesome. I like they are doing a fantastic job just at the entire growth of the game and that being a focus on it, which is great to see. What is your favorite social media platform?
Twitter. It has to be Twitter, because of the fact that it's all day, every day. I'm on it. I'm tweeting. I'm talking, conversations, etc. I'm checking it when I go to bed. I'm checking it when I wake up. Now, that being said, the best network, in my opinion, is Google Plus for the value of the content on it. Google Plus is the quality of content on Twitter meets the ease of access on Facebook. That's just missing the numbers, yet they've got the active users. It's just the activity of those users on Google Plus, but the niche of communities. If I'm interested in deer hunting and I just want to talk to deer hunters and I go to Google Plus and I find the deer hunter community, boom, you are engulfed with content. Same way with golf and craft beer and whiskey and cigars and dancing and fashion, you name it. So my favorite is Twitter. The most powerful and the best is Google Plus. And I don't know what's next. I see video being a big part of it. So us being able to do this right here, you and I have never shaken hands. We've never been in the same room together, but we meet and talk all the time. And that's cool. It might be weird when we meet because it's going to be like, oh, hey, there you are. Like, it won't be, I promise. But the idea is that video is next, and video is not new by any means, but I feel like video is going to be the next wave. But as of right now, Twitter it's my fave.
Yeah, and I think Google can do a lot more with that realm. Obviously, owning YouTube and then Google Plus, I think they've only scratched the surface of kind of merge together into a platform. So probably the most anticipated question that people want to know before. Do you think Tiger breaks Jack's record. Why or why not?
I do. I honestly do. Obviously, you knew that was coming. And I do for a couple of reasons. I do because let me say that, if he remains healthy, there is nothing stopping him from winning 5, 6, 7 more. There are people throwing their phones right now. There are people slamming their laptops shut. There are people laughing at me, calling me names. I get it. He did not forget how to play golf. He was and will again be the greatest player to ever play the game. He is the greatest player to ever play the game. If he retires tomorrow, he's the GOAT. If he remains healthy, and this entire statement is based on the if he remains healthy, he's got 8, 9 to 10 years of as he is because of how healthy he is. Look at his picture as Santa Claus. I mean, the dude is ripped, and he's 41 years old. Like, the dude he's dialed in. I honestly think, based on how he performed in his event where he had 24 birdies and led the field in birdies, granted he didn't win. It wasn't about winning that event. It was about playing 4 rounds of consecutive golf. If he stays healthy, I honestly think he comes back, and maybe he wins 1 or 2 events and a major next year. Maybe he wins. I don't know, but that's not for me to figure out where he wins, what he wins, and why he wins. The dude is not sitting on his couch. He's hitting balls. He's chipping. He's putting. He's finally, for the first time in his career, gotten healthy before coming back to competitive golf. Never has he done that. Hurt. Fixed but not ready, comes back hurt. Fixed, not ready, comes back hurt. A year and a half off. Now he's ready. Now, everybody says, oh, well, Tiger's not the same prowess that he once was. Jordan and Ricky and Rory, they're not afraid of him anymore. Okay? You don't have to be afraid of him to lose to him. When I saw a stat about a month ago that said that Tiger has missed 15 cuts at 41, soon to be, he'll be 41 this week, 41 years old. Tiger's missed 15 cuts in his career. Jordan has missed 12, and he's 24. Don't ever put Jordan and Tiger in the same conversation talking about how good of golfers they are. Tiger misses cuts, and the internet breaks. Jordan misses cuts, and it's like, what's next? When does he play again? Who cares? Not who cares. That was bad. I didn't mean that. It's not news as it is when Tiger misses cuts. I saw another stat just last week that was talking about the number of consecutive cuts, and I'm not sure who the name was, and I want to say Justin Leonard, not Justin Rose. I don't think it was Justin Rose. Whoever's got the current record of 22 straight cuts made. Okay, that's good. You made 22 cuts in a row. That's pretty good. Tiger's is over 120.
Wow.
There's no question he is the greatest player of all time. It's not an argument. It's not even necessarily a discussion. I did not live when Jack did what he did. I'm not discounting what Jack did. Jack had 4 or 5 other players he was playing against every week. Oh, Jack had a lot of second-place finishes. Yes, he did. To my good friend Ricky Bobby, second place is the first loser. So I don't care if he finishes second or if he finishes last. He wins or let's move on. Because Tiger cares about winning tournaments. He cares about breaking records. And in his interview with Charlie Rose, when he was asked, do you think you'll break the record? He laughed and made, I don't know the exact quote. I watched it 15 times. I should memorize that by now. I honestly think that he will, and I think he thinks he will. And the day that he thinks he won't will be the end of that man's career as a professional golfer. I don't think that the TGR that he's built, putting his golf and his restaurants and all this in one entity, has anything to do with that. I think that's just making it easier for him to run business. But if he stays healthy, if he's hurt tomorrow and tears his back in a practice round, he's done. I honestly think one more injury and he's done. But if he stays healthy for the next 8 to 10 years, he breaks the record and wins 5, 6, 7 more majors. If
or not, we
he stays
agree
healthy.
on that. I think we can both agree that he is definitely good for the game of golf. The amount of people that tune in just because he's playing. I mean, you mentioned the Santa picture. It was like a headlining story on all the golf media outlets. And I was like, wow, this is I don't even know what to say about that. But anyways, we'll move on. What is your favorite golf major?
You know, I don't have one. I don't have a favorite. I have to say, if Tiger's not playing, I'm not watching. I mean, I remember when I played on Masters Sunday, I played True North 2-3 years ago, and course was empty because everybody's at home watching the Masters, and I'll find out who wins later. But if Tiger's not in the field, I'd rather be on the golf course playing. I did watch when Jordan dunked his wedge, and I was actually asleep on the couch because I fell asleep watching that. So I can't even stay awake during the middle of the day on the final round of the Masters if Tiger's not in the field. And I don't think that makes me a bad golf fan because I'm a golfer first, I'm a Tiger fan second, and I'm a golf fan third. But if I had to pick my favorite, I honestly, if I had to pick, I'd say the Open, just because of the fact that it's played overseas, and I love Europe and I love traveling. So just that one, out of the sheer fact that it's overseas, I would say the Open. But past that, no exact reason why.
And your final question on the hashtag Wednesday Match Play is, what's next for Ricky Potts?
Oh my God. I mean, just keeping things going. I mean, really, like I am excited about where the hashtag Wednesday Match Play has come and is going. We are discussing making it a podcast for iPhone and Android so you can listen to the audio version only. If we do that, I'm going to tip my cap to the guys over at Private Club Radio and Gabriel Aloisi, because he is the motivation for it if we do take it to a podcast. It'll be a little bit different. It'll be the same content, but it'll be an intro, outro, maybe some use for some commercials. So that's possibly coming in 17. We've got a bunch of fun things planned at Tiburón Golf Club, obviously with the Black Course being remastered, the Gold Course now being reopened, and membership is growing there. So we've got a lot of fun things planned for that in 2017. Hashtag the Oven 17, making sure that gets sold out. We have a goal of 36 golfers and making that an event that's got its first sponsor with Eat Sleep Golf behind it. That's going to be fun. Already excited about 2018, and we haven't even started to scratch the surface on that yet. I'm excited to have relocated. I'm excited. I got my stuff. So what's next is to go and pack some boxes, quite frankly. But I'm excited to be here in Southwest Florida and to be in a place, into a market that I've never been and I've never seen. And somebody says, hey, have you played this course, or have you heard of this place, or do you know this place? No is the answer. And I like that. And I like that because I'm bringing a different perspective of marketing, of what's worked elsewhere, to a place that I know no one. And I love that challenge. And, from a personal perspective, I'm just excited to get settled in Naples and to keep growing the Google Plus golf community and to keep meeting people like yourself. I know you're going to be at the PGA show, so I hope we can find a way either for you to drive 3 to me or me to drive an hour and a half to meet you in the middle, or who knows, I might even be at the show. I don't even know yet. So it's just 2017, and I've said personally, I've always said that it's always getting better. Like every year after year, it's getting better. The older I get, the better it gets, and I honestly believe that. And the more opportunities that present themselves, I'm going to go out and I'm going to embrace that and try to tackle that. And I'm excited to fill the calendar for 2017 with the hashtag Wednesday Match Play. We just confirmed Ted Bishop just a couple of days ago. Excited to get him on the show. I mean, we have so much potential with this show, and I go back to what W&W say at the end of their podcast is the best is yet to come. So thank you for hosting me tonight. I know we've gone about an hour over our normal allotted time. So to all of those at home watching, I'm excited that to have been able to be in the hot seat, and very, very honored to be able to have answered these questions for you tonight. And I look forward to our next episode, which will be the first episode of 2017. And I'm not going to tell you who the guest is yet, but as always, it's going to be a fun show. So, Scott, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate the opportunity to be in the hot seat this evening.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. It's obviously watching you week in and week out do the show. It's great to switch things up and actually all the various things that you're involved with. And like I said, we could have broken this out into 4 or 5 shows. So on. I look forward to the year ahead, to continuing to watch and grow with those things that you're involved with. So thanks so much for doing this, and I look forward to the year ahead. And as always on the Wednesday Match Play, you have to remember to eat, sleep, golf.